Alright, today we're going to talk about properties of numbers. The first property of numbers is the identity property. And the identity property means that you don't change the identity of something. So, there's two of these. There's the addition one. So, if we add 0 to anything, we don't change its identity. So, example, 10 plus 0 still equals 10. So we didn't change the identity of the 10 by adding 0. The other one is multiplication of 1. So I can do 10 times 1 and I still get an answer of 10. So anytime you get the same answer out as what you put in of that original number, that's the identity property. So you have the identity property of addition, which is adding 0, and the identity property of multiplication, which is times 1. Alright, the next property is the associative property. The associative property means you change who you associate with without changing the actual value of that statement. So, again, this works with addition and multiplication. So I could have 4 plus 5 plus 7. That is the same thing as 4 plus 5 plus 7. So you notice I changed where I had the parentheses, but I'm not changing the value of the sentence. So to be associative, you have to have parentheses, and you have to change them to group different numbers, but those groupings cannot change the outcome of your answer. So you can do this with multiplication as well, so I'm going to use the same numbers. So you could do 4 times 5 times 7. That's going to equal 4 times parentheses 5 times 7. So again, I changed my grouping, but I'm not changing the answer to my problem. Alright, so the next property is the commutative property. And the commutative property, when I think of that, I think of two cars on the way to work, a red car and a blue car. And the red car can be in front of the blue car, or the blue car can be in front of the red car. The road really doesn't care. Both cars are just trying to get to work. So, commutative property works with both addition and multiplication again. So, in this case, we could have 4 plus 5. So the 4 is in front of the 5. But that equals the same thing as 5 plus 4. They're both going to equal 9. So the order there doesn't matter. It's the same thing with multiplication. I could do 4 times 5, which is 20, or 5 times 4, which is 20. So if the order doesn't matter, then it's the commutative property. This does not work with subtraction or division. Alright, so the last property we're going to go over is the distributive property. And the distributive property has to do with passing out things. So if I distribute papers to my class, I'm going to give my class the stack of papers in my hand. So again, with distributive property, you have to have a parentheses. So I'm going to have 4 plus, we'll stick with 5, what we had there. And on the outside of the parentheses, I have to have multiplication. So let's say it's 3. So what I can do is distribute that 3 to everything inside the parentheses. So I do 3 times 4. Keep that plus sign. 3 times 5. And I'm going to prove to you that this works. So if I was to do this order of operations on that first one, I would do 4 plus 5, which is 9. And then I would do 3 times 9, which is 27. So if I do it with distribution, I do 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. And 12 plus 15 is 27. So I just proved that the distributive property works. So distributive, remember, you have to have parentheses, and outside have to have multiplication, and then you are multiplying everything in the parentheses by that outside number.